such a
Wow, a new episode of The Breakdown.
yeah, making noise and trying to avoid the previous bullshit. Distraction. Donald Trump.
And
Fucking
that's
Donald Trump.
exactly where I'm going with this. Thank you, Big Daddy Pool Sour Diesel, with the journalism.
That was funny.
Yesterday night, Saturday night, while everybody was outside living their whole life, all right, we have possibly entered World War III with 3 drone strikes that were made to key nuclear facilities in Iran, who has been an enemy of the United States almost forever. So all that happened, so for the people that don't know or don't understand what's going on, I'm going to give a brief a brief update of what happened, a brief history of what's going on. So what's happening is that back in 2014, Barack Obama, I'm going to give you all a real fast version, put in a nuclear deal with Iran, right? After Barack Obama left presidency, was done being the president, Donald Trump came in and got rid of the nuclear deal. What ended up happening is that Iran has been sourcing uranium, right, over and over again. So the uranium now is to make nuclear weaponry. The belief system is that Iran will use the nuclear weaponry to attack Israel. Okay, Israel is United States' real main ally in the Middle East. What ended up happening is that Israel has decided and said that you guys should not have nuclear weaponry, even though Israel does have nuclear weapons. What then happened is that when they had a beef, Donald Trump decided to side with Israel. Israel then made the first drone strike against Iran, killing people, and then Iran retaliated, and then Israel retaliated, and then Iran retaliated, and then Israel retaliated again. What then happened was Donald Trump said that, you know what, here's what needs to happen here, right? Both countries need to come to a agreement to now not do any more drone strikes, not killing more people, what have you. Donald Trump said that he gave people 2 weeks to do this. Well, it always been, in Donald Trump's character to go against what he always says, right? So what ended up happening is that he decided Saturday night when everybody was out, or Saturday evening rather, to now, set the plans and execute and destroy 3 nuclear bases in Iran, which were key bases that he destroyed. With that being said, Iran came on television, one of the spokespersons for the president of Iran, and said that we are ready for war. Okay. At which point, Donald Trump has yet to respond, but I know that this morning that there was a press conference, from the DOD, Department of Defense, and with the Department of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who is a grade A idiot and jackass. Okay, and last night Donald Trump said that that he's, after he did the drone strike, he's calling for peace. He's calling for peace after he drone striked 3 facilities. And what is one way for Iran to retaliate is to close, is to close the oil refineries where we get a good portion of our oil from. Okay, which would then raise up the gas prices extremely high, and then also give supply chain issues when it comes to being able to supply grocery stores and things of that nature. So that is the full extent of what happened. I hope everybody understands now. If there's any confusion, I'm more than willing to go over it again. However, fellas, World War III, is that what you feeling? Let me know. I can start with random thoughts.
So this is why the videos are going around on TikTok about stocking up on non-perishable items. I was trying to figure out what was going to happen in a moment in time in history that was going to be a catastrophic event that would cause like for such despair in the future whenever they show like this apocalyptic future. This is not, something that I would have preferred to have chosen. I didn't choose this president. I didn't choose this presidency. However, comma, we're now here. So I always employ my people, and you know what I'm talking about when I say my people, to continue what it is that we do, and don't let fear mongering, don't let propaganda, don't let these things deter us from doing what it is that we need to do. Do need to be vigilant. We do need to be wise, and we need to be smart and start to utilize the resources in which we have and stop depending on the government and all these other things that are going on, because clearly it ain't for us. But nonetheless, our president is an idiot. I don't even think he took the proper protocols that you're
He
supposed
did
to
not.
take in order to even do a strike. What's still piercing to me is the hot mic with him saying he wanted people to actually fear him, and just speaking like that, I just think that incites and sends so much, like hatred, and spews so much hatred. So I choose not to dive into that. But hopefully, we're not going to World War III. Hopefully, I don't know. We could be optimistic. Realistically, we probably are though, because it's about time for a war. It's a business for them. So
All right.
somebody let's see.
Big Daddy Cool.
Well, thank you, Mashaw, for breaking that down and bringing that news to me. Because I was somehow a little unaware and not caught up on the topic that we're speaking on. Um, but just to give my opinion from what I'm hearing, we can have nuclear armory, but no one else can,
Right. Right.
which is kind of unfair because it's
Mm-hmm.
like, well, if you got a gun and this is a gunfight, I gotta have a gun too. So
Mm-hmm.
with that alone, I believe that's unfair. And then secondly, I say to Donald Trump, you can't throw a stone and hide your hand. You started something and now you want to apologize. That's not what we do here. You know what I mean? And thirdly, for the people that voted for him, this is what you get. This is the result that we have. And fourthly, to go on and to mirror what Brandon says, yes, let's our people, the people, don't live in fear. Carry on your day like how you do usually, and yes, do move strategically, vigilantly, or whatever, and be aware of what's going on. If you was unaware now, we gave you a reason to be aware. I'm aware now. I hope it doesn't call for a war. I hope somehow, some way they can come to some terms before it gets even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump is really showing who he really is to be. He's just a grown ass child.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fucking kid. This isn't a man who was right for this position. And I think the people who voted for him should have sat there and really thought about this decision, because this is not a regular fucking job. This ain't a fucking McDonald's job. This ain't Starbucks. This ain't none of that shit. This
Mm-hmm.
is a person that's supposed to be the leader of our country, and this is what's going on right now. This is some fucking bullshit. And people who didn't vote for him, this is what we gotta live through and we gotta suffer through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This kind of angers me, and I'm quite sure it angers everyone else. And this is what we was angry from the beginning. we didn't want to become. Like we didn't want to see this, and now we're here.
You know, a few things. I think that purposely Donald Trump is doing this to distract us, you know, from whatever the fuck else is going on, because this is just a list of on the list of things where it's nothing but pure shenanigans. I believe that, you know, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, call for the impeachment of Donald Trump because you put the United States into a very particular spot right now. With everything that's going,
position.
yes, with everything that's going on in terms of deportation, the tariffs, Doge and all type of bullshit. A war is not something that's needed. You're already stretching, the country out by thin, right? And there's already a war that's brewing on the inside of the United States, and it's not black versus white, but it's rich versus poor. And I will say this: anybody that voted for Donald Trump and you're MAGA, make sure you pick up that fucking gun first. Okay, make sure you put yourself on the front line right there in Iran. Okay. Because guess what? They're going to need soldiers, right? They're going to need soldiers. So if you are, God bless America, and I support the president, I hope they don't have to call you. I hope you go down to your local office, just in case if you're in Brooklyn. There's one right on Flatbush Avenue. Two on Flatbush Avenue. One by the Flatbush Avenue Junction, the other one by the Fulton Street Mall. Okay, go down there and register your bitch ass to be on the front line to make sure to fight this fucking war. Because guess what? There will be a war. Because you can't sit there and call for peace. Sour Diesel just said you cannot just, hide your hands after you did what you did. So the fact is that you can't be upset. Is there retaliation? Nobody wants to be bombed. No one wants to be attacked. But you know what? Guess what? This is what happens. So all those people that sat there and said that Donald Trump going to save America, he's going to bring down the price of eggs, he's going to sit there and not start any new wars, he's going to, he said that Joe Biden has stage 9 cancer. Let me tell you something. I would take Joe Biden and his stage 9 cancer over Donald Trump any day. You understand? Any fucking day. And guess what? If you had stage 9 cancer, your body would be in shreds. But that's a whole different story.
If I can just the drone strikes were set on the nuclear sites.
Yes.
Was those nuclear sites with people, or it's just like
no? They were with people.
Shit, it was with people there.
Yeah, they were with people there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Iran knew this was coming, so I think they evacuated some people because they kind of knew this was coming. Because one thing's for sure and two things are certain: you can't trust Donald Trump. Okay, so the fact is that him saying that he's going to give them 2 weeks was absolute bullshit. Because he already came with the plans a few days ago. You know what I'm saying? So this wasn't like at the spur of the moment where he just woke up and chose violence. No, this was something that was discussed from a few days and what have you. And the only side that he was taking in the situation was Israel. Now, I'm not saying that Israel.
Didn't he recently do a deal with Israel or something like that, where he has some real estate or a city out there in one of
Not yet. What he wanted to do was he wanted the people of Palestine to give up the country. To say, he wanted them to give up the country and specifically the Gaza Strip, so he could build a resort and hotels over there.
Right.
That was his intention at that time. But unfortunately, you can't fucking just move, over close to 1 million people and tell them to find a place to live. All right.
Is that something a president can do? Or that sounds more like of a businessman move than a presidential move to me.
It is.
So it's like, what the fuck?
It is. It's very pathetic and sad. That's why the deportations right now. By the way, I let you know. Do you know ICE is in Brooklyn? Now ICE has been picking people up, off of different areas in New York City, and officially, and this was on New York News Channel. I mean, Brooklyn News 12. I was watching last night. So they actually, try to pick people up off of a dollar van. Okay, so the edict is that they have to have 3,000 people deported a month. That's the goal that they're going for. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to say this before when a few shows back. People out there, if your shit's not legit, please stay inside. Stay the fuck inside. Don't go outside. You know,
Don't go outside and make no money, people. Don't go outside and make no money for your family because this is what's going on, and this is fucked up.
It is fucked up.
This is what happens. You ever went to school with one of them badass kids, and then they get on timeout because you done told like, yo, Mr. Rounds, like he did bad, okay, and he just got that revenge on him, and he just come out of the corner just angry, mad, like, damn, bro. And this is Donald Trump. He's a fucking mad red. You know what? Let me not even say no more. Okay, you might get a whiff of this or what I'm saying. You might not like what I'm putting down, but I'm putting some shit down. And I don't like it.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We're in a very sad time. Brandon, before I change up, any last thoughts on this?
I was just going to speak about how pompous the Secretary of Defense was speaking during a press conference this morning. They talked like they strategically came up with this brilliant plan to bomb these nuclear sites and just I felt like there wasn't a call for peace and there wasn't remorse. And if there is one, it was done very sarcastically, but that could just be me. That's all I wanted to say.
You're absolutely right. I mean, you know, just before we switch gears, you know, the thing is that this was already planned. It was already planned. So the fact is that for him to say that this was strategic is bullshit. You know what I mean? It was already planned. And guess what? Like Sour Diesel said earlier, how could you sit there and tell another nation they can't have a nuclear weapon and we have them?
And another thing, with the musicians that we have today, how the fuck are we gonna have a We Are the World Part 2? You understand what I'm saying? Not right now. We cannot have this. Oh my gosh.
I think we can pull it.
I am a man of comfort.
On the We Are the World. Oh my gosh.
I think we got a lot of people that's still alive. We could do Patti LaBelle, Beyonce, Dolly Parton. Let me try to
Lil Wayne? No.
Maybe not. But we could do Nicki Minaj.
Hell the fuck no. Would not want no Nicki Minaj or no goddamn We Are the World. Please.
Okay, all right. I'll keep throwing out names. Toni Braxton.
Okay, she could be there. Okay.
Mariah Carey.
Okay, all right. We got some people.
Katy Perry.
That could work. Mary got to be there. Mary J. Blige.
We still got Stevie.
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie.
And that'll be good because he was in the original.
Yeah.
You know, so he's the.
Isn't Lionel still alive?
Lionel Richie's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't gonna have no Quincy to produce it. Who's on the
produce? We can use Pharrell.
Mm-hmm.
We can use Pharrell. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to go on Rockstar. Well, they say Billy Joel, you know, is starting in the beginning of losing his mind, so we can't use Billy Joel. No, and Phil Collins got cancer. Okay,
What's the other guy? What's the other one that he was in the original and he's alive now?
That'll narrow it down. Who are we talking about?
The white guy,
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen. Yes, I forgot. Bruce is still
Ron Jeremy. He's a porn star.
No, I said Rod Stewart.
Oh.
I don't know if Rod Stewart still performs. That's a good question. Yeah, I don't think he's still, but that's a very good question. Elton John.
Sir Elton. Yeah, we could do him. Mm-hmm.
We got Bono from YouTube.
Bono, yes. I forgot about Bono. Steven Tyler. We gotta do reggae people too. Buju.
You gotta get them all.
We are the world. Wow, that would be a sight.
We are the world.
we are the people.
We gotta get one of the Marleys on there.
Yes, Stephen Marley.
All the kids. They can put all the kids. So that's gonna bring Lauren. She's gonna come for that.
Get some Kendrick on there. Probably put some SZA.
Okay.
What's the girl that the big girl that sing the flute? That do the flute?
Lizzo.
Lizzo,
Lizzo.
the big. She lost weight.
Okay. You know what? I'm sorry. I retract my statement. We can have a We Are the World Part 3 because I think they came out with a Part 2. I remember. I think they came out with a Part 2 back when 9/11 happened.
Well, you better.
That was what's going on, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh no,
But it was
yeah,
what's
what's
going
going on?
on? What's going on?
Yeah.
It was that one.
We get Diana Ross.
I said her earlier.
Okay. All right. This is something that Drake can't be a part of. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It wouldn't even.
J.
Yeah,
Cole.
I think we have a lot of people that that could be a part of that.
Waka.
That was a very good one because that segue into the BET Awards happened.
Yes.
This week, last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to Brandon, thought about it earlier, and Brandon thought it was a very good showing this time around, and brought back the essence of award shows. I'm not an award show guy.
Mm-hmm.
I will highly admit I don't watch award shows. I watch clips of it. You know what I mean? I just felt like, to me, award shows, I'm not entertained by them anymore. But Brandon, thoughts? Why don't you give us a full rundown of how you felt the BET Awards was?
I mean, well, one, I want to talk about the categories first. With the categories, it was like every single person that's out in that category was in the category. Like best hip hop female, it had everyone in there, like Doechii, Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, like everybody who's out Lotto, like was in the category. I don't know if that was a good thing. I remember the awards maybe doing 4 to 5 nominees tops. This year, it was like close to 7 or 8, or whoever was in the category. They did a nod to 106 in Park, which I really enjoyed. They had most of the hosts there. Like there were hosts who were absent, like Roxy, who didn't make it, and
And
AJ,
free.
who didn't make it. They later on talked about, they were in the air or they wish they could have been there, but things didn't work out. It probably was linked to a bag. I'm not sure. But they did shout them out on the stage. They did a big shout out to the creator of 106 in Park and the innovator who's done a lot for BET, was Mr. Stephen Hill. He was there with his wife Shantae Moore.
What?
Ashanti performed, Jim Jones performed, and they did it in the style of like 106 in Park, like the host, and then toss it over to the 106 in Park performance stage, and then it was the performances of all of the different songs that was hot for the summer that year. Jim Jones, A. Marie, Ashanti, Keisha Cole, Lil Wayne.
Keisha the
Um,
Cole.
I enjoyed Leon Thomas, the Mutt song. Like he came, he brought his whole band. He sings his ass off. That was a crazy performance. It was like an ode to like watching like Maxwell perform at the Soul Train Awards or something like
She
that.
take
So
my
it was good. The
money.
Jamie Foxx, all of the honorees. I thought every last one. This year they did 4 honorees, which was Snoop Dogg, Mariah Carey, Kirk Franklin, and Jamie Foxx. The tributes were really good. Nobody, of course, sung for Mariah Carey. She performed Type Dangerous, her new song, and what's his name?
Is that the one over the Rakim beat?
Yeah.
Yes, Rakim
Yeah,
came out
that
and
shit.
rapped with her. He came
That
out
shit
with
is
her.
fucking hard. That
Yeah,
song is
that's a
hard.
dope
Yeah.
ass song. And
I knew you would like it, player. I knew you
yeah,
would like
yeah.
it.
Yeah, that shit is
That's a
hard.
dope ass song, and Rakim came
You
out and
wanted
performed with her.
to pull out your side with your BBSs, huh?
Listen. I'm about to download that in my Serato and get to that So Clean with the original. Yeah.
So she performed that with what's the guy that plays the
Rakim.
drums with Bruno Mars? Darn, why am I forgetting my twin name? Anderson
Anderson
Paak.
Paak.
He was on the drums on the ones and twos during the performance. Jamie Foxx, he had Teddy Riley, T Pain. I'm forgetting somebody. It was somebody with Teddy Riley. They did the Jamie Foxx
Dougie
whole thing.
Fresh. Dougie Fresh.
Yes, Dougie Fresh. Thank you.
The world's greatest entertainer.
Dougie Fresh. They tore the stage up. It
I
was
ain't really
really
like that.
good.
I ain't really like that one because I kind of liked it, but then it was like I don't know. I think Teddy Riley kind of fucked it up for me a little bit, just a little bit. But
Teddy Riley is also trying to make America great again. So I lost complete respect for Teddy Riley many years ago.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
unfortunate. I still like the man's music. He had a whole era, New
Ah!
Jack Swing era. Like I apologize that he's doing that, but he's the reason we had the New Jack Swing era, which was kind of dope. That pushed out a lot of hits. I
Mhm.
love the what else I liked about it. The Kirk Franklin tribute was really 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 good. They had brought out like Tamar, Money Long, and somebody else, but you really heard them. Kirk Franklin's like choir and his dances and stuff is what really took out the show, closed the show. Lil Wayne did really good. Surprisingly, he bought his mug, little cup. I forgot what you call those cups.
Stanley.
Yeah, the Stanley. He bought his little Stanley cup. He was dressed like a schoolboy. He performed. It was good to me. It reminded me of the old awards. Good job, BET. Shouts out to them.
And shouts to Kevin Hart for hosting.
Yes, he did a really good job. He imitated Usher. He did the whole cherry things. That was a funny little skit with Tashina Arnold and Tisha Campbell. He also did it with Kerry Washington. Him calling everybody by their government names in the beginning was funny. Like calling Gloria, Hallelujah. Like that was funny to me. Good show. Good show.
Yeah, my take on it was, well, Brandon done said everything. Um, it was an excellent show. It it showed it really showed black excellence,
Mm.
not that black excellence that Diddy was trying to show
Mm.
us. And I also believe too that with everything that's been going on within the media with black people, I felt like BET stood up and stepped out, showcasing our stars. So they
Mm-hmm.
did a good job with that. I liked Glorilla's performance. She really showed to me that she isn't no one hit wonder. She wasn't going to just stay here, and I mean, she wasn't just going to be here one time. You wasn't going to see her again. So she really improved on that. All in all, it was a good show. Kevin Hart, he did a good hosting of it, and I liked it. And I
Mm-hmm.
also like the nostalgia of it with the 106 Park thingamajiggy. Yeah, shout out to them.
Definitely. You guys.
And B2K.
Yes, B2K and Bow Wow. That's who I was missing. B2K and Bow Wow shut it down. I like that Shad lost the weight. He was looking like Mr. 106 in Park. B2K did Mrs. Razzleberry. He had all his boom cat, his eight
I used to call him
counts.
Raspberry too.
Yeah, yeah. He had his thing, his eight count down pat.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't miss a beat. It was very, very good. And I heard that they made an announcement that they were having a tour next year. We
Oh, come
hope
on.
that that will come to fruition. Yeah.
Not another
Figures.
one. Not another one. That's all they. This is all they do is tour.
I guess. I
Yeah, that's
guess.
where they make their money.
I guess they made up from old boy messing with old girl, and let's just be friends again.
Well, the crew had a series of stacked issues, allegedly.
Well, we talking about the issues that we really know.
Well, Razzleberry had it all out there on the line, or why they
Oh
wasn't
yeah, that is
speaking.
true. That is true.
That's what I was
When they
talking
talking
about.
about Chris Stokes used to sit there and try to give the business to every one of them?
Yeah, that's what we talking about, but we
Yeah.
wasn't saying it.
Yeah, it's like it's
That's
so
what we
much
were
stories like
alluding
that.
to.
It's so much stories that come out like that as of recently, especially with Fat Joe. I don't know if y'all heard about Fat Joe.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Never
but
heard
he's
about Fat Joe.
countersuing. Fat Joe countersuing.
Well,
No,
Fat Joe say he's been extorted.
no, Fat Joe started the suit for defamation because the
His assistant.
man the
Yeah.
man went on an interview just defaming him and saying a whole bunch of things with his name, and now this guy is countersuing Fat Joe, and this is the allegations that came out with it. So it's just crazy because I do remember this guy. His name is Ta, something like that. He came out a couple of months ago or last year. He was saying that he was the ghostwriter for Fat Joe. So you already know from right there, it was like
Right.
shakedown for money. He wasn't receiving no money, no royalties. And you know how it goes. Once these guys get to where they at and they kind of be like, hey, I don't need you no more. I'm trying to
Hmm.
save some money. What do I need you for? You go back to what you was knowing. And people don't like that. So I don't like that you sent me back to the hood, Joe. And now I have to do what I have to do for me. You
It
know,
sounds like that this guy is definitely doing that though.
and that's definitely what it is.
You know. All right. That has been another great episode. Wait, if you have something else, D, go ahead.
What do you think? I don't know if you heard about this, but what do you think about this Nas and Jim Jones thing?
Bullshit. I think
Yeah,
it's absolutely
like,
bullshit. I think it's because first of all, I think this is only benefiting Jim Jones. To be honest with you, I think it's only benefiting Jim Jones, and I'm so happy that Nas hasn't even dignified this with a response.
Well,
Because
Jim Jones is more of a social media whore than Nas.
But this is off of
chill.
this is off of that young man that said that, you know, it's off of that podcast interview that was done. The young man stated that he believed that Jim Jones was more relevant. He was only 22 years old. This is where this comes from, you know, because the interviewer asked him, so Jim Jones or Nas? He said it's going to be Jim Jones. He said Jim Jones had way more hits. He said I don't know any Nas hits. So the guy's like, you crazy. He said Jim Jones has a better catalog than Nas. And he's like, how could that even be possible when Nas was rapping a longer time? You know, and the kid said, I don't know any Nas records. He said all Nas records is old school to me. He was like, when I was a little kid, Jim Jones who was hot. And then so that clip went viral, you know, and when it went viral, everybody's discussing this. Now, where Jim Jones also fucked himself is when he put up the Billboard numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not even the same category. Like I respect Jimmy, you know what I'm saying? I respect Jimmy, but let's be honest. You talking about Nas, Godson. You know what I mean? We're talking about Nas, Illmatic, Stillmatic. You know what I'm saying? Compared to what? We Fly High? You know what I'm saying? And Jimmy, who taught you how to rap? Cameron taught you how to rap. So how the fuck could you be at Nas level? If the hardest song Cam ever did with you was what's that?
I really mean it.
I really mean it. I really mean it's the hardest record that y'all did. I'm not saying We Fly High was cool. That's a good record. Certified Gangsters, good record. You know what I'm saying? But let's be honest for a second. How you gonna sit there and say you're better than fucking Nas? That don't make sense.
I think in today's world, right, where we get our props or some respect, I think we get it mixed in. I think we get it mixed up, right? Like I could be giving you your props because, like, oh, like you stay fly, like you know what I mean. You always dress nice, and that's it. Like you just dress really well, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there, that fucks with a person's confidence. Like it if anything, it boosts it up, and it everything else don't matter. You know what I mean? You make that your overall, so you just think you better overall in everything, and that is not the case here. You know what I mean? Just like that to that 22-year-old. When I was about your age, I said the same thing, and I was only being biased because I was from Brooklyn and I was going with Hove. I listened to some Nas here and there, but I always refused to listen to a Nas album until I was 23 and I heard Illmatic. And when I heard that shit, it was different for me. Mm-hmm. It was different. So him saying that, Illmatic alone, that one album is better than a whole Jim Jones catalog. Alone.
Yeah, I would agree to that.
Alone. And that's all I gotta say about that. What's fucking with It Ain't Hard to Tell?
Nothing.
New York State of Mind.
One Love. Halftime.
And the shit with him and AZ on Illmatic.
Not Street Dreamers.
That's my favorite song.
I can't
visualizing reality like that.
No, it's crazy. It don't even. It's not even the same catalog. First of all, Nas's verse at Live on the Barbecue is hotter than anything Jim Jones ever said. You know what I'm saying? When he said when I was 12, I went to hell for snuffing Jesus. No, there's nothing. There's not one fucking verse, not one verse that Jimmy has ever said that will compare to that verse.
No, not one.
Not one. There's not one. There's not one verse Jimmy has ever. First of all, no one has ever said. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. We all grew up. All three of us grew up in New York City. No one has ever said, yo, Jim Jones said some shit on that song. Okay? Nobody has ever once said that. I don't care if you are, you know what I'm saying, if you are a hip-hop connoisseur or you are just a casual listener. There's not one thing that Jimmy has ever said on any one of his records that was profound or prolific. It just never happened. I don't even think he knows how to do it.
And you know what? That's a perfect example. So you know what? I'll give you this. You know what, Jimmy? I'll tell you this. You might be on the billboards, and that might have you a little comparison with Nas. But the comparison that you don't have with Nas is that you're not in the hip hop quotables. And if you are not in the hip hop quotables, you cannot be talking like that. And that's what I gotta say about that. You will never be in a hip hop quotable, and you will never be in the top anything.
The one thing I will say is, all right, is We Fly High a go-to record in the club? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But you know what trumps that? If I Rule the World. Okay? If I Rule the World, come on, body. And you know what we also forgot about? All of Nas's features. You know what I'm saying? Because the only thing that I don't really remember that Jimmy was on was Pop Champagne Remix. I'm not saying that he was on other shit. Nothing's coming to mind. But I think his line, Nas verse on a Loris record, that can't see, he said having your hair smell like weed, I don't remember the verse at this point. What about on Love Is All We Need with Mary?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's all, and I mean,
Nas Hot Boys
remix. I think he bodied that. He bodied it. What about, what we forgot about to say?
Peace, boy. Boy. Put you where you rest in peace, boy. Get your mama house shot up. Bodies all chopped up. When them bodies pop up, I ain't getting locked up. My Billy with the sunroof top. Put red jumping on my job because I blew up their spot. Okay.
What about what song we didn't even mention? And Major Look. When everybody thought Nas was falling off, right? He threw out Major Look. And let me tell you something. I think that record brought out the best in fucking Ludacris. That shit solidified Ludacris.
Yeah.
When Ludacris came on that, you know what I'm saying? I think that song brought out the best in Luda. You know what I mean? And then what about
them New York niggas?
What about
Mr. Jada?
What about One Mic?
Give you a deep. Oh, One Mic was my favorite. It was like one of my favorite Nas songs.
Brandon Cross, tried to get me to perform that one New Year's.
Just like the Stone Cold and Owen Hart, you gotta let it go, brother.
You know what I'm saying? One New Year's.
You gotta let it go.
That boy got
3
the
New
memory
Years
of an elefante.
You gotta let it go, bro. You gotta let it go. You should have just did it. You knew so much about Nas.
That New Year's about One Mic.
First of all, listen, man. Jim Jones, you might have an impact on today's game or whatever you think you may have, but Nas has an impact on the game that lasted about over like 3 decades.
Yeah, I would agree with
that. When I was younger, everybody wanted to be Nas. You wanted to have the fade with the part right there. You know what I mean? Like, we still look at Nas as that old. Like, we don't even consider him old, but like Nas is an OG. Smooth.
He's uncle now. He's uncle.
Yeah, like he just like that smooth player. Like,
and he made the chip tooth cool before Fab.
Yeah, like Nas. Like, come on, man. It's always gonna be Nas. Nas is God's son. He the king. Like,
And we forgetting about the movie
Jim just
Belly.
gotta be humble.
What about the movie Belly?
Sincere. Come on, man. yo, T. That shot. Yo, he had me tight. Bad acting. But you know, it was. Come on, it's not. I'm glad to see where his career has gone now. You know what I mean?
And
Like how he said, made you look. I thought he fell off, but I
let
mean,
me tell you something. Nas, on the business tip, made one of the best investments that that got turned down by Shark Tank. That we all use today, huh?
The Ring camera, right?
The Ring camera.
That man's smart. Man's smart. See, like people like him, you gotta respect him. Like I don't gotta rap no more. I'm gonna show you how else ways to get money. That's why I respect Hove. I respect the people like him, Hove, Snoop, Master P, all those guys. It's like they still found a way.
You know what's interesting? I was watching this Facebook video the other day. So Khalees was in there. So Khalees is, she does missionary. Khalees, his ex-wife.
Milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
I hate you so much right now, which was about Nas. Now it was. That's what
she wasn't with him. She wasn't even with him when that song came out.
She was with him.
I hate you so much right now.
Yeah,
that came out in 99.
No, that was 2000. That was later than that.
I hate you so much right now came out.
We always could Google it.
Came out before that.
But
came out before her and the Nas thing.
I'm not sure about that.
Come on, man.
The old facts. Now, what I was saying was she's a beautiful woman. Like I was looking at her, I said I didn't remember what she looked like. She's a beautiful woman. I said, okay.
Let me tell you, it was a beautiful woman. Let me tell you, still got some beauty on them. A. Marie. Maya. Because when they was at them BET Awards,
you had me with the A. Marie one with the Maya. Yeah.
Oh my God. Ooh.
I saw her live in Madison Square Garden, and he's like, they look good for their age. They don't age at all. Like a bottle of fine wine, they just get better with time. I'm gonna have to agree. Maya, and I hated Maya growing up, but I respect her now.
Both those women look like a vibe. Like, if you're dating with them, I would just love just to be around them and just sense their energy. But just also, like got good energy.
Also, maybe one episode coming up, we could talk about how the label went with Beyonce over A. Marie.
Oh yeah.
And that's why A. Marie's career, unfortunately, took the back seat. But that's a whole different topic on a whole different day.
She stole her.
Rich Harrison, producer Rich Harrison.
And on the next episode, I do want to talk about Miss Jones. Because that interview was a very good interview. We got a lot to
watch that interview.
Yes. Other than that, guys, thank you for a new episode and tuning into a new episode of the Breakout Podcast. Any thoughts, fellas, before we end off for the night?
Listen, wrestling, music, entertainment, politics, we got you covered. Booth is by us for you.
Random thoughts.
Live long and prosper. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
That's it. You know what I mean? And if you want to sink big ships, you got to go where the water's deep. We'll see you next time on The Breakdown.
And if you burnt them bridges, you better learn to swim.